Today we have a bunch of really cool stuff to take a look at. But to start out, we have the welcoming party for the latest addition to the Mini GT Land Rover collection. This is a Malaysian Army liveried Land Rover. This is the, I'm going to butcher this, Harimau Balang. Apologies to anyone who speaks this language. I do not. This is a Malaysia exclusive, and it's Mini GT number 321. And this thing is very cool. So I dropped my box opening scissors, but get this thing out of the package. So this is a kind of a jungle camouflage on here. We have some Malaysian Army insignia here on the front, spare tire on the hood. We get a new roof rack, so we haven't seen this. None of the existing versions have this particular style of roof rack. This one does come with the steps. Some of the prior releases have the steps, some of them do not. So like this one, we can take a look at. This one does not have those steps. They do all have mud flaps, though, so you can see the mud flaps here. On the Mini GT casting, the mud flaps are cast in as part of the base. And then you have a trailer hitch here. So just a quick note on these logos, or these insignia, sorry. So my understanding is that this insignia is the division, and this insignia is the brigade that this vehicle is part of. I could tell you, or I can't tell you what the specific division and brigade. I think this is Division 4 maybe, and then the brigade. I don't remember what that means, but anyway, just a little detail about this. So these Mini GT Land Rovers are always fantastic. Obviously, you know, it's a typical Mini GT metal body, metal base. They roll, no suspension, but they do roll quite nicely. And you know, inserted details front, painted details on the rear for this one. But yeah, fantastic. It's beautiful. Love these Land Rovers. So he's going to join his compatriots, and as part of my rapidly growing Land Rover collection. So let's set the box at the very back. Next up, another Mini GT. This time a Lamborghini Aventador SVJ Roadster. New editions of Lamborghinis, and especially Aventadors, is also a very exciting thing. So this one is a Miho exclusive, limited to one of 3,600. Blanco Canopus is the color. Basically, this is a pearl white. And this casting is just fantastic. So quick look at this box, number 224, Lamborghini logo. And this is the first version of this that I've gotten that is open roof. The others have all been hardtop. And this thing is just gorgeous. So this one does have lensed taillights and lensed headlights, metal body, metal base, rubber tires. It'll roll nicely. Great thing about Mini GTs, and this is just beautiful. So the interior is nicely detailed as far as the cat or the mold goes, but it is lacking in, or you know, Mini GT doesn't do any additional paint or anything on the interiors. So this is awesome release, though. Love Mini GT. I always say that, and they never miss. So this is another brand that has really been kind of hitting it out of the park, you might say, lately. Inno64. This is a Toyota Celica 1600 GT. This is the street version of the very awesome racing version that we looked at a few weeks ago. This thing is absolutely fantastic. And so now we get the street version. And the beautiful thing about Inno64 is this is not simply this version minus the racing graphics. It is a very different casting. So let's get this thing out of the package. We'll quickly take a look around this package. Inno64, so it is officially licensed, which is always great to see. And get it out of the package and off the space. And so this is one of the newer Inno64 castings. So it'll be metal body and have a metal base, and it will roll, which seems to be something that they're trying to do more now, which is great. So you can see it. It's not a great roller. It doesn't roll as good as the Mini GT, but it does roll. They also have suspension, not a lot, but there's a little bit of suspension in these now. This one has it as well. Not a lot. Actually, maybe this one doesn't have suspension. This one does. It definitely has suspension in the back. But yeah, very cool. So it's cool to compare these because you can see they are significantly different. You have the flared fenders, the air dam on the front, and very different grille. From the top, they're pretty similar. So like the greenhouse is pretty similar on the vehicle, but you get a rear wing which is cast in, and the rear end is very different. And then the base is also similar, but the exhaust exits to the side on the racing version, and the rear on the street version. But very cool. These old Celicas are just, I don't know, just cool cars. Back when these were new, there was a car I never would have paid any attention to, but I absolutely love them now. And I think this one is fantastic. This one's very cool too, but the racing version is the one, for me anyways, that I'm most excited about. All right. Now from Para64, we have something a little bit different. We have a Mercedes Maybach GLS, so a rather large SUV. And again, this is officially licensed by Mercedes from Para64. And this looks pretty cool. Let's get this off the base. Some pretty giant wheels on this one, that's for sure. That's what you get on these. So again, okay, so this is Para64. This is going to be metal body. They will have a plastic base. They do have rubber tires. This one does not have any tread on the tires, which is unfortunate. The last Para64 that I got did have treaded tires. So I was hoping maybe this one would as well, and that they would correct this issue, because this is definitely a weakness of Para64, is that the tires are not always treaded. So you have pretty decent looking headlights and a decent looking front end. The paint's maybe a little bit sloppy on this one. But you get a printed on Mercedes badge on the hood. I don't know if this vehicle would, I guess modern Mercedes would have some kind of a flat logo on the front. They don't have the stand-up logos anymore. You get a lens taillights. And yeah, this is pretty cool. Let's see into the interior there. Looks like a pretty nicely done interior. Again, no painted detail or anything on the interior for this. So Para64, these cost about $15. They're in the same category as Mini GT. So I definitely would consider them a mini GT competitor. They do roll. This one actually rolls pretty nicely. They do not have suspension. But yeah, this one's pretty cool. For an SUV, I mean, it seems like I'm developing an appreciation of SUVs. What am I gonna do? Yep, that's the beauty of collecting diecast. You can have an open mind, and you will, get enough of something, and you develop an appreciation for it. So, who knew? Next up from Greenlight, Starsky and Hutch, 1976 Ford Grand Torino. Love the Grand Torino. This is a very cool car. This is the latest Hollywood series, I believe, and this is kind of a dirty version of this vehicle. I know that they have released this particular car many times, and when I ordered this, I didn't actually realize that it was a dirty version, but it looks pretty cool. It's awesome casting though. Got a worn out trunk. I mean, I'm assuming, this is the first version of this Starsky and Hutch car that I've gotten. I assume that the prior releases were not this distressed version, but maybe that's wrong, because this would be more accurate to the way it would have been in the show, because I'm pretty sure that this vehicle was never pristine in any of the shows. But so this may just be a straight up re-release of the prior vehicle. I don't know. Somebody else can tell me, I'm sure. It's a California license plate. So let's see. Greenlight. So it rolls. No suspension, of course. This should have an opening hood if we can, get it to open. Pretty cool looking engine in there. Looks nice. Closes. Got some fairly sizable gaps on it, which isn't great, but yeah, this is a cool version though. Love this car. Awesome. Next up, we have era car, Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG. This is a 6x6 vehicle. This one came to me as a gift from David at Twice Diecast. I actually got it from him a while back, but I haven't opened it yet. So we're gonna open it and take a look at it. This is another vehicle that has never really held much appeal to me, which is what I was very glad that David offered to send me one. But having it and looking at it, actually, the G-Wagon overall, and this is a variation of the G-Wagon. The G-Wagon overall is a vehicle that is another SUV-like vehicle that has really grown on me over the past few months. So my appreciation of this type of vehicle has increased significantly. And so it looks like this one has opening doors. Get them to open. Pretty tight, but there we go. And it looks like it probably has an opening hood. Yeah, so it's got an opening hood. Nice detail in there on the engine. And it's left-hand drive. Let's see, passenger side door open any easier? No, it's pretty tight too. All right, we're not going to mess with that. Yeah, so this is cool. This has lots of extra pieces on it. A roll cage, light bar, rear bumper. This is actually this is part of the base. Yeah, actually no, it's part of the casting. So the silver piece on the side is part of the metal casting. So this metal body, plastic base. Yeah, plastic base. These roll, of course, quite nicely. Aero cars always roll pretty well. No suspension. But yeah, so this is very cool. And then it comes with some little accessories. So there's a roof rack that you can put on. And some luggage and stuff. So let's see. How does this? Oh, it's actually, it has holes in the top so that this will fit in here if I have it going the right direction. All right, there it goes. So yeah, so that sits on there. That's kind of cool. And then you can add suitcases or whatever you want to on top of that. So yeah, well, anyway, we don't have to mess with that. But that's cool. Very nice. Thank you, David, for that. So we'll set you here. Kind of goes well with that mini GT Land Rover back there. Next, a new to me brand, Inspire model. This is Robert Design, so this is a convertible VW Bug, and this is apparently an RWB Bug, which is interesting. So I have never gotten anything from this company before, so let's get it out of the package and take a look at it. This looks pretty cool. Fairly tightly screwed to the base. All right. So it seems like this might actually roll. Yeah, it does kind of roll. So what do we get here? We got a metal body. Actually, it's a metal base. That's a little surprising. Quite a bit of detail here. Treaded tires. Got the wheels that stick outside of the tires, which is pretty cool. Lensed headlights. License plate there. Interesting interior. Looks like yeah, little lens to taillights as well. Decent looking wheels. Doesn't look like they're open. It looks like they're just closed. But yeah, interesting. This is pretty cool. It's very different than your typical Volkswagen, that's for sure. Lots of funky aero body work on it. But yeah, interesting release. I'm very surprised to see it has a metal base. I definitely would have expected a plastic base on this. But that's cool to see. So, you know, it does technically roll. It's not a great roller, but it does roll. No suspension. But neat. Yeah, that's very cool. All right. We're kind of running out of room here on the camera. Next we have from Tiny HK, this Mitsubishi Pajero 2015. If you've been watching my videos, you know I've been pretty fascinated with Tiny, and I've been picking up quite a few releases from them. And this one looks pretty cool. Lots of appendages here. Mirror here. I guess this is a mirror, and what I assume is a mirror on the would be a mirror on the front as well. Which is interesting. So this probably has opening doors. Yeah, they open pretty wide too. Nice interior. Full steering wheel. Not the best closing doors in the world. This one's a little rougher than some of the other the other Tinies that I've looked at. Let me see what this this is number 144, so it's not a low number. It seems not quite as refined though. So this, you know, since it is tiny, so it's a metal body, it's a plastic base, rubber tires on this one. They don't all have rubber tires. This one probably has suspension. Yeah, it does. So it's pretty bouncy. And I think I said plastic base, and it'll roll, of course. Tinies roll really well. Because they're definitely, these are marketed as much as toys as they are as adult collectible kind of things. Which is interesting, because all these little extra parts and stuff would be, I don't know how well that would go over in the US. But yeah, it's cool. All right. Next, we have another brand new release, this time from Tarmac Works Global64. So we have a Polizei Mustang. And it seems like a very odd thing, doesn't it, to have a German police Ford Mustang GT? Because, you know, Germans kind of make pretty decent cars of their own, so you wouldn't think the German police would need to have a Ford Mustang. And so I actually thought this was just a fictional car, you know, that Tarmac Works just threw this livery on it, you know, because they can. And but it's actually a real car. It does exist. There's only one of them, but it's not actually a patrol car. It was built as a tuning demo car, basically as outreach to the tuning community on how to build a tuned car to comply with German laws. And apparently they build a car like this every year and do a different model each year. And so this one, you know, this whichever year this was from, I just dropped the package, so I don't remember what it was, but they did the Ford Mustang. So it's interesting. It's, you know, surprising and unusual to see a Mustang with German police livery on it, but that's the story behind this car, which is kind of cool. This is a cool casting though. I really like this this Tarmac Works. This is a Global64 Mustang. The only criticism I have is that these headlights seem to be a little bit little squinty, you might say. And I thought that maybe that was due to the paint. Like the first version of this I got was white, and I thought it was just kind of thick paint. But it does seem like maybe the casting is a little squinty. But anyway, so Tarmac Works Global64, metal body, metal base, rubber tires, no tread, and no roll, and no suspension. But it's cool. Love the Mustang just in general. I am a big fan of this era of Mustangs. So happy to have this one. Let's see. I'm gonna do another tiny. So this is a man light rescue unit. So it's a Hong Kong Fire Department. And pretty interested to check this thing out. Obviously, this one's not going to be 1/64 scale, or at least I don't think it is. That's pretty large. So it came with a sticker here or something. Little piece of foam padding. So this is a tiny number 53. So this is, you know, this is a very small fire engine. So this might actually be 1/64 scale. I don't know. I know that the seller for these sometimes lists the scale, but I don't think it's anywhere on the package that I'm aware of. But this is kind of interesting. Yeah, So again, metal body, plastic base, rubber tires. No, yeah, rubber tires on this one. Suspension, and it rolls very nicely. Yeah, this is pretty cool. It's bigger than I thought it would be. I figured it would be like 1/76 scale, and it may be. Yeah, I don't know. No, this is probably 1/64. Like if you put it with this Land Rover, that probably is 1/64. So Tiny seems to have, or they seem to like, they're not always 1/64 scale, but they seem to do vehicles in like categories of scales. So they'll do, you know, some will be 1/64, some will be 1/76, some will be 1/110, and then like the minis are 1/50th. So they have these categories where they kind of group things together at particular scales. So even though they're not all 1/64, you do have at least some logic to it, unlike something like you know, a Majorette or a Hot Wheels or what have you, where each individual model may vary in scale. Okay, so moving on. So this is a Inno64. This is a Chinese New Year release, obviously 2022, Year of the Tiger. And this is a Porsche. So let's get this outer box out of the way here. Wish you a happy Chinese New Year from Inno. Model car making is an art itself. Yes, it is, and Inno does a very fine job of making model cars. So look at this thing. This thing is gorgeous. Yeah, it's beautiful. This one comes with a couple figures, which is interesting. I think this is the first time I've gotten an Inno that has figures. I'll take a quick look at this box. So Chinese New Year 2022 Special Edition. So Liberty Walk Porsche 997. Comes with a tiger and a woman and what is the name for the clothing that she's wearing? I probably shouldn't try to name it. Bottom of the packaging. All right, so let's get this thing open. So this is very cool. And there's a chase version of this car too. And I normally don't care about chases because I think most of the time chases actually look worse than the regular version. But the chase, or not always, but you know, to me more often than not, they're worse than the real version. But the chase version of this one is really cool looking. I've actually been tempted to get one. And part of that is that this is a blingy, this is, you know, not trying to be a real world looking car. It's not trying to be realistic. It is, you know, just a special edition kind of release. So in some ways it's a, you know, it's almost like a chase piece anyways, or not really, but you know, anyway, it's gorgeous. I'll say that. Let's just say that. It's just gorgeous. You know, for whatever it is beautiful, and it looks fantastic. So this casting, it is metal body, it is metal base. This one has treaded tires. Let's see, does this one roll? The other one that I have of this doesn't really roll. It rolls. It's not great, but it rolls. No suspension, of course, on this one. But yeah, but nice lensed headlights, lens taillights, and yeah, this is very cool. And then you have your tiger, and it's actually a pretty decent looking tiger figure. And the Chinese New Year matching outfit there, which is kind of nice. So cool. Beautiful though. This is absolutely Absolutely beautiful. And we can put it together with the Mini GT Chinese New Year Land Rover release. Which one do you think looks better? You know, I mean, come on. There's no doubt. Beautiful. All right, now from Auto World, we have new Kentucky Barn Finds. This is a surplus goodies exclusive, and it appears I did not open this one. So, sorry about this. Get some scissors here. Typically try to cut these in advance, and I missed this one for some reason. But, okay, so what was I saying? So Kentucky Barn Finds, this is a surplus goodies and LBE exclusive. And the casting, so this is one of 2016, and it has a cowl hood, which is the first time they've done this truck with that hood on it, which it looks really cool. So the last Auto World square body exclusive I got, I was very disappointed in. It was one of the distressed ones, and it just didn't look good at all. But this one is not distressed. We do have a distressed version that we're going to look at next, but this looks very cool. The cowl hood looks really good. Gives it a little meaner look. These wheels look fantastic. And, you know, Auto World does a fantastic job on these. Always have. The only criticism of them is they've just put out so many. I mean, how many of these are there now? What, 150 different releases or something? I don't know if it's that many, but there are a lot, and I do not have even close to all of them, but I thought this one looked really cool, so I did grab it. And the alternate version, or maybe that's the alternate version, and this is the primary version, I don't know. But same thing, one of 2016, cowl hood, but this is a distressed, rusty version. And this looks much better than the last one. Yeah, this one looks really cool. They distressed the wheels too. And this rust effect looks much better. You don't get it on the inside of the bed. That's a little bit unfortunate. But as far as, you know, the bumper looks pretty good. And the rust just, yeah, it doesn't have that horrible pixelation that the last one had. I think even if we zoom in on this, well, you can see it if you zoom in. So don't zoom in. Don't use your camera and zoom in on this, because to the naked eye, it doesn't look that bad. The last one definitely had issues. So the engine is also kind of clean, but it's a decent looking engine, but no distressing of the engine, which is unfortunate. But yeah, this looks really good. This is a very cool release. So which one's better? I don't know. Probably this one. I bet they're both fantastic. Beautiful. Except for the tailgate won't stay up on this one. That's a little unfortunate. That's gonna bug me. All right. Well. Okay. Next up, Car number 24, Mercedes AMG G63. So to go with our 6x6, we have the regular AMG version, or not the regular, I mean AMG version is not the regular version. But so we get the AMG version of the G63. As I fumble my words, it's late. I'm recording this at, I don't know what time it is, 1 a.m. or something. But yeah, this looks pretty good. This is very light for a era car casting. It feels very light, but it is metal body, plastic base, rubber tires. The tires on these always look kind of big to me, but that may just be the way they are on the vehicle. So this should have an opening hood, I believe. Yeah. So again, probably the same engine as we had in this one. Lensed headlights, painted taillights, and then you get the opening door in the back, which is a little janky. It's a little loose, but yeah, this is pretty cool. Not the best version of this vehicle I've seen, but not terrible. So it's going to roll, of course. They roll really well. No suspension. But cool. Then, Greenlight. We have a Fall Guy truck. Stuntman Association. 1982 GMC K2500. And this looks really good. It's a very cool truck. Let's see if there's anything on the back. Just the same Fall Guy logo. And there's a Fall Guy logo on the hood too. It's metallic brown, gold stripe on the side, which looks awesome. Front end looks awesome. Big chunky tires. Bumper's kind of loose, but you know, windows are a little smudgy, but you know, it's a Greenlight, so it's almost impossible to get a Greenlight that doesn't have smudgy windows. I don't think the hood opens. I think it's just, looks like it should open, but I think it's just tooled so that they can do different hoods on it if they need to. Black base, which is kind of interesting. This looks very cool. Fantastic of it. And of course, Greenlight, so it's gonna roll. This one actually rolls pretty well. You know, sometimes they're a little rough, but this one doesn't seem to have that issue. Very nice. This Porsche, look at that thing, it's gorgeous. All right. Okay, so now we're going a little bit old school. So I had picked up a few Racing Champions lately. So Racing Champions to me is a brand that is just massively hit or miss. Very inconsistent. But I saw this. This is a Studebaker, and I collect Studebakers, so I grabbed this, and this was part of a lot with a couple other cars, and it looks kind of interesting. So let's see, is this a hit or is it a miss? So this was Hot Rod. This is from, does it have a year? 1998 is the copyright date on it. And so, but look at this. This is interesting. So issue 96, one of 19,998. So they made 20,000 of these. That's crazy. That's a very big number for something like this. Which is perhaps why I was able to so easily find one in the package after a long period of time. So this is a very funky looking car, but this actually doesn't look bad. It's obviously a little bit of a souped up version, so it's got some bigger tires on the back, some more of a drag racing kind of thing. but it still has the character of the front end, which is really what you're after with this car. And had an opening hood, so it's got a chrome engine in there with a pretty good amount of detail. So this is actually pretty cool. So it is metal body, plastic base, rubber tires. It seems like it's gonna roll. Yeah, it rolls. No suspension. But yeah, painted details front and rear. But this is very unique. It's a very unique car. It's definitely the kind of thing that only racing champions will do. That's the good thing about the brand, is that they have some really wacky castings. And you know, since I collect Studebakers, I'm very happy to have this one. It's awesome. So that one is a hit. It is not a miss. And then part of this lot came with this 1998 first edition's Chrysler Thunderbolt. So another very strange car, which is very interesting, from Hot Wheels. And I have never seen this car before. No detail on the front or the back. Actually, it looks like the only thing that they did on this one was the Hot Wheels logo on the top there. The only tampo. Purple windows. So this is actually metal body, metal base. No, it's plastic. Plastic base. Yeah, very funky car. But I didn't explicitly select this when it came in the lot with this Studebaker, so kind of the windows kind of match. That's interesting. But I don't know. It's a cool car. It's unusual. It's Chrysler Thunderbolt. All right, and then one more from this lot was this Racing Champions NASCAR fans commemorative gold series old stock car. And this is one of 9,998, so almost 10,000 of these. And apparently this is like the special version of the stock car, and the primary release was blue and white, and they made 20,000 of those too, which is very surprising to me. I would prefer to have the standard version of this. So this is one of these that comes with this little plastic plinth and the card to, you know, in theory display it on. But this is a very heavy casting. Yeah, I would love to have the stock version of this without this shiny gold, because this is actually a very cool looking car. I love old NASCARs. I'm not a huge fan of NASCAR racing today, but I do have a huge appreciation for the old cars. And if this was a stock version, this would be really cool. It's still pretty cool, but you know, it's gold. It is not as good as the stock version would be, but that's okay. It was part of this lot with the Studebaker, so I'm happy to have it. And interesting to get to check it out. But so it did have an opening hood. It's got an orange engine in there. Looks like Racing Champions in this era did a pretty good job on the engines. And this one is, you know, metal body, metal base, rubber tires, rolls nicely. And yeah, it's cool. I may need to try to track down the regular version of this. And some of the others, there were quite a few of these in this series. And this one looks pretty good, because I had bought one of an older Racing Champions like this, which I thought would be really cool, and it was terrible. It was so cheap and so plasticky and just not worth it. And it was, you know, some 60s, or maybe it was an early 70s stock car. But this one's much nicer. This is a nice high quality casting, and would definitely be worth tracking down the default version. But there we go. Thank you for watching.